Hello everybody, it is Monday, May 20th. The reason I'm telling you that is this is the week that we're going to get the reveal on the new Xbox. It hasn't happened yet. That's why I will not exactly be talking about it today. But I do want to let you guys know we'll be doing some very comprehensive coverage on the 21st. We are going to have live coverage of the Xbox reveal with thoughts from many people at Rev3 Games and the larger Revision 3 team. The way to find that is go to youtube.com/Rev3Games. I'm going to be up there in Seattle. You can follow some of my impressions on Twitter. We're going to be doing some interviews and more stuff that's going to be making it up on the site once we get it through the post-production. And also, be aware, we're doing a special Address the SESS this week. It's on Wednesday the 22nd at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to be there. We're going to be talking a lot about what we're finding out about Xbox and next-gen consoles as a whole. And my final little piece of housekeeping, forgive me for this, please check out Max Scoville's brand new show, Max Scoville's Study Hall. It's all about GTA 5 and maybe some of the additional learning you should do before you play the game at the end of the year. Okay. There we go. Going up to Seattle to find out finally what Microsoft has, because it makes it so much easier when you can talk about something because other people are talking about it officially. And with that, most likely the internet will blow up in memes and pictures. And of course, many places will use the term console wars. I don't know how many times I've had to say console wars in my career. I guess we like to over-dramatize it with war, because everyone loves war. It's so much fun. What it is it's called business, and it's called healthy competition. And I know that a lot of people out there get very passionate about the company, the console that they really get behind. And I would sometimes like to point out, when you get really frothy at the mouth, you realize you do become an unpaid cheerleader for a large multinational corporation that compensates its own employees quite nicely at the very top level. So something to consider when you're going out there on the internet. But more so, the idea that one console has to beat the other. I understand it's kind of fun and it's a game and you're aligned. It's like your college teams. But is that what we really want? Do we want to see Microsoft crush Sony, or Sony crush Microsoft, or Nintendo rise like the Phoenix and set both of them on fire? I would say take a step back and consider what the consequences are when you don't have competition in the marketplace. That tends to make whoever the winner is become complacent, become too stable, become also a little bit easier to exploit the consumer base that it's established, because it doesn't have to make a case for something that's lower price or a broader amount of content if they're the only ones out there. I don't think this is somehow going to negate all of the great excitement that people are going to have for these consoles, but it is important. I want to see Sony do well. I want to see Microsoft do well. And I already have a sense that when it comes to who do I like more, or who do I think is going to be successful, there's some uncertainty. I expect there'll be some very good things done by Microsoft and Sony, and some very unique things that are going to cause some problems and some road bumps along the way. I would just caution everyone to really kind of take it in. Don't just look at it from your perspective as Super Gamer 101, but also as, what is the business maneuver here? Is this going to help find that broad audience, which is essential for the survival of the company and the console? But at the same time, they can't eschew what that core base is. They're the early adopters. Those are the ones that are going to say, hey, I will pay for this console at its highest value, and they do need to have a case made to them. And it's typically, what is the software that's available? Really sit back, analyze it. We don't have to make up our minds about what we want to buy if you're only going to buy one of them until the end of the year. And there's so much more information to come, and we don't need to start getting on our haunches and arming ourselves and rushing into battle so early in the fray. All right, our question this week comes from the Jedi Revan. You know, a nice KOTOR reference. I'm always good on the KOTOR references. You think it's about Star Wars? You think? Hey, Adam, with the EA Disney Star Wars deal in place, do you believe we will see more polished Star Wars games in the line of Knights of the Old Republic, Battlefront 2, and Rogue Squadron, or will we see the forced flooding of the market with poor quality games like Masters of Terras Kasai or Star Wars Obi-Wan? Bravo for the Obi-Wan reference. Unfortunately, Mr. Revan, you've dated yourself as I do every time I get myself in front of a camera. I do expect more polished games. I know everyone has so many issues with EA, but they do have a level of polish in the majority of their products that they put out, and there really is no reason to do a poor quality Star Wars product, because there was a period of time where the market was so saturated with Star Wars. And it got to the point where GameStop was actually telling LucasArts to stop putting out Star Wars games because it just didn't have that special ring to it. They clearly have probably paid a lot of money, although I've heard some rumors that they're going to be paying royalties on these games. And if that is the case, the games have to be good. The games have to sell, and there really is, for the most part, good games, especially with the Star Wars license, will sell very, very well. My question is, what makes a good Star Wars game? Rogue Squadron's a great example. I think the games, X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, the ones that are kind of a slice of what you can do in the Star Wars universe, tend to work the best. The one exception is Knights of the Old Republic, and I think that's really because BioWare had such a wonderful, elegant RPG formula that you just put Star Wars on top of it and it really works. But it tends to be those smaller slices. Battlefront falls into that as well. With your examples of like Obi-Wan, those are the ones that are trying to tell a story. And now you're drawing a comparison to the existing Star Wars universe, which have good actors. Well, once upon a time, had good actors playing the roles, and they have the depth of characterization that a movie can offer, and it doesn't really sort of win that comparison. At the end of the day, though, it may not be the games that are going to decide whether or not we're going to have a successful Star Wars gaming experience. Those movies out of Disney, with J.J. Abrams directing the first one, if they don't pop, if they don't honor the legacy that all of us have invented in our head, are we going to want to be grabbing the games off the shelf?